Coming up tonight on NonStop Local, the Trump administration discontinuing an annual report on food security and hunger here in America. We'll share the Montana Food Bank Network's reaction to the news. And President Trump signing an executive order today on the sale of TikTok. We'll explain how this could impact the future of the app's availability here in our country. But first, the White House says wide-scale terminations are possible in the event of a government shutdown. We're bringing those stories and a whole lot more. NonStop Local. We start right now.
Ben Weinman and Mark Hako, bringing you the content that connects our community. You're watching NonStop Local Montana at 5.
Well, good Thursday evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Ben Wyman. We begin Beyond the Big Sky tonight. The White House Budget Office is threatening mass firings if a government shutdown happens. The directive, outlined in an Office of Management and Budget memo to agencies, includes instructions to target programs that are not legally required to continue. It represents a sharp break from the government's handling of past shutdown scenarios and an escalation by the Trump administration amid a standoff with congressional Democrats over federal funding. In the memo, the Budget Office directs agencies to identify programs whose funds will lapse if Congress fails to meet the September 30th funding deadline. And federal funding is due to expire on Friday, October 1st. If our political leaders can't strike a deal, we'll continue to report on the state of those negotiations in the days leading up to next Tuesday. In other national news tonight, President Trump's administration scrapping an annual report on food security and hunger here in the United States. The administration says it is canceling the Household Food Security Report, which is published each year by the Department of Agriculture. The USDA says its final report will be released on October 22nd. Now, the agency claims questions used to collect data in previous reports were subjective, overly politicized, and contain inaccuracies to create a false narrative on food security nationwide. Critics of the change say the administration is now making it harder to measure food hunger. Arlena Margot joining us tonight. She spoke with the Montana Food Bank Network about how those reports influence their decision making in their efforts to feed those in need here in Big Sky Country. Alena, good evening to you. What did the folks tell you tonight?
Ben, thank you. The Economic Research Service will no longer report on household food security, and this has raised concern for organizations like the Montana Food Bank Network, who say without it, locating hunger problems in our areas is nearly impossible.
We can't end hunger if we don't know who's hungry. So when you think about losing data like that, that's so instrumental to the work that we do. We need this report to happen. So we're pushing very hard Congress to hold USDA accountable and make them reinstate this report.
The Montana Food Bank Network is urging the USDA to continue making these reports to ensure that our local challenges are visible and addressed.
A partner of Feeding America, that's a national food bank, and they use that survey data to do their Map the Meal Gap. And so then we get the Map the Meal Gap data, and then we know exactly how many adults are food insecure in our state, how many seniors, how many kiddos. Did we implement maybe a new summer meal program and food insecurity amongst kids went down? That's how we know, like, okay, this is working, these strategies are working, or if they're not, then we can adjust.
And other recent federal changes are impacting how our communities see and experience food insecurity.
$200 billion were cut from the SNAP program, and they're unprecedented changes. Now that that's being changed so much, we need to know how that's affecting people. And they're taking this report away. How are we going to know?
The Montana Food Bank Network says that these reports have been used for over 3 decades and have helped guide their investments in programs like SNAP, as well as school and summertime meals for kids. With NonStop Local, I'm Alena Margot.
Alena, thank you very much. Well, we're continuing to track the fate of TikTok here in the United States. President Trump signing an executive order today on the sale of the app. The order is a step towards completing a deal to sell TikTok's U.S. assets to a consortium of mostly American investors. President Trump says that Chinese President Xi Jinping gave the go-ahead for the deal during a phone call with him last week, which he described as a, quote, very good talk. The order is an important step towards that final sale, but the process not complete tonight. The deal will still likely require regulatory approvals from both the United States and China. That sale comes after a U.S. law went into effect back in January. The law requires the app's parent company, ByteDance, to divest about 80% of their U.S. assets to non-Chinese investors or be banned here in our country. President Trump has repeatedly delayed enforcement of that law. This comes at a time when more and more Americans are using TikTok to access news. A Pew Research Center survey finds a fifth of U.S. adults now get their news on a regular basis from TikTok. It's up only about 3% in 2020. For younger adults under 30 years of age, 43% turn to TikTok for news. That's more than 4 times the number of people from 5 years ago. And roughly a quarter of people from 30 to 50 say they mainly get their news from that platform. Pew Research finds over the past 5 years, TikTok has seen the biggest boost in news consumption over all other social media platforms. Okay, let's talk weather this evening as we're getting you ready for the rock and roll for the weekend. Meteorologist Mark Haka joining us tonight, telling us what we can anticipate as you finalize those Friday and those weekend plans. Hello, sir.
Hi.
How we doing?
Great.
Great. Okay.
Loving the weather. And,
yeah.
And then we're going to get back to fall tomorrow. And then we're going to get to summer again over the weekend. So.
See, this is the perfect. I mean, 60s and 70s during the day, maybe reaching 80, and then it's like 40s at night.
Yeah.
To me, that's perfect.
Yeah, it really is. I like highs in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, that's all we need.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Again, I'm marveling on how crystal clear it is. This is the third consecutive day of completely clear skies. Let's take another look at our time lapse. Look, no clouds yet again today. And we will finally see some clouds moving into the state tomorrow as a cold front moves in. But gorgeous shot here looking downtown as the sun came up. And of course, that's on the Stockman Bank City cam. It is warm out there because we have high pressure dominating, and it is bringing temperatures 10 to as much as 20 degrees warmer than it should be. 86 in Missoula. We ought to be in the upper 60s. 79 in Billings, 78 in Glasgow. It's 87 in Great Falls and 81 right now in Bozeman. Look at that. Perfectly clear. You got to go up into British Columbia. You see some rain up there. That is the front that will be moving through Montana in the next 24 hours. Winds are generally 5 to 15 miles per hour. Here's a look into Miles City, 77 at 7, down to 70 at 9. Sheridan, 74 at 7, 62 at 9. Lewistown, you're going to drop 73 at 7, down to about 9 or 10 degrees at 9 o'clock. Butte, 74, down 10 by 9 o'clock. Glasgow, 73 at 7, down 10 by 9. And Kalispell, upper 70s, dropping to the mid 60s. I forgot to show you that weekend forecast, but of course I'll have that coming up a little later. And then at 6, I'll show you the 3-day outlook.
Mark, thank you very much. Well, we're tracking crime in Beaverhead County tonight. A man is being charged with negligent homicide following the recent death of a child. According to court documents, this past Tuesday, police responded to a crash near the intersection of East Helena Street and Thompson Avenue in Dillon. There, a child on a bike tried to ride across the sidewalk and got hit by a driver. That child sustained deadly injuries and later passed away in the hospital. Now, there's reportedly video evidence showing that the driver did have the opportunity to see the child and still failed to yield on time. This led to the negligent homicide charge being filed against the driver. And in Helena tonight, police there are looking for a missing man named Kyle Killeen. Killeen was last seen on August 28th in the Helena area. He's 41 years old, 5'11", 160 pounds, with blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding his whereabouts, you're asked to contact the Helena Police Department. You see it right there, 406-457-8865. And learning more about a recent search for a missing child, the Park County Sheriff's Office says shortly after 6 o'clock last night, they got a call reporting that a child went missing who had last been seen running along the railroad tracks along I-90 just outside of Livingston. Now, all train traffic were stopped while the search was underway. About 2 hours later, the child was found unharmed by a citizen near the Yellowstone truck stop. The Sheriff's Office just thanking everyone involved in that search, as well as the person who found the child. They say this was a happy outcome of what could have been a very tragic situation. In continuing coverage tonight, we're talking about the efforts to combat domestic violence on our local reservations. This week, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services announced that they have invested $15 million in the form of a 5-year grant to fund a first-of-its-kind National Indigenous Domestic Violence Hotline. According to the National Institute of Justice, more than 4 out of 5 Native American women experience violence in their lifetimes. This new hotline is being created to help those impacted by domestic and sexual violence. It'll be staffed by trained advocates with expertise in tribal culture. The hotline will be operated 24/7, offering confidential toll-free support via call, text, and online chat. They can be reached via the number you see right there on your screen, 1-844-762-8483. Caught on camera tonight, Two Bear Air is sharing footage of a recent rescue mission. The team says that this past Sunday, they were sent to Shoshone County, Idaho to help a hunter who accidentally stabbed himself in the thigh. The team lowering a rescue specialist to help the hunter. The hunter was then assessed, treated, hoisted into a helicopter, and flown out of the woods to receive medical care. In Great Falls this evening, they're giving Morony Park a new life. What used to be a naturatorium site, now home to an accessible playground, and just the beginning of all of those upgrades. Joey Taylor showing us how children of Great Falls, of really all abilities, already making the most of it.
Swings, slides, even musical equipment, Morony Park is looking a whole lot different these days. What used to be the site of the natatorium is now an inclusive playground designed for kids of all abilities, maybe even some adults, to join in on the fun.
This is a neighborhood staple park, and we want it to be something that everyone can come and use. So you can come and have a picnic, play in the playground, shoot baskets, and just really enjoy your neighborhood park.
Phase 1 is complete with the natatorium removed and a new ADA accessible play structure in its place.
This is a wonderful addition to the city of Great Falls, and specifically for kids with handicaps. And it is amazing to see the kids playing on it now, even though the non-handicapped ones are going to love it too.
And for kids like 6-year-old Jacob, it's already a hit.
Hello, my name is Jacob here at a park, and lots of people have built it here, and I'm absolutely loving it. It has this little ball thingy swing, and we also have a swing here for the handicapped kids, and I really love this park.
Phase 2 will bring a new pavilion and irrigation system to keep the park green and picnic ready.
This playground is like one of the best ones, and please visit it.
When all is said and done, Morony Park won't just be a play structure. It'll be a gathering place for the entire community. In Great Falls, I'm Joey Taylor, NonStop Local.
Appreciate it, Joey. Thank you very much. Well, folks, we're just getting started on this Thursday evening here on NonStop Local. And after the break, Mark Haka returning longer look at the rest of your weekend forecast. Plus, hey, before we head into break, I want to remind you all, we have our second high school volleyball broadcast of the season live on SWX. We're going to be live from the Magic City in Eastern Conference battle tonight. The Skyview Falcons hosting the Belgrade Panthers. Getting underway in a little under 2 hours from now. 7 o'clock is the first serve. Watch every play live only on SWX. And tomorrow on SWX, we have our 6th high school football broadcast. It is a big one for bragging rights out of the Gallatin Valley. Crosstown hitting the gridiron. Bozeman taking on the Gallatin Raptors, 2 of the top teams in the state. Gallatin, they're 4-0. Bozeman is 3-1. It's going to be a great ball game tomorrow. Kickoff set for 7 o'clock. You can watch all the action only on SWX Montana. Our team getting ready to rock and roll for a really fun weekend of football. Keep right here. We'll be right back.
The new SWX app is here. Download at Google Play or the Apple Store.